Hello, Governor. How have I been doing? Because the last video, again, was not edited by the time that I went to sleep. Is this a trigger now? The word sleep? Anyway, yeah, I edited and posted the video the next day, and I could have not edited it. Since, again, as I've said plenty of times, nobody's watching this. Like, for most of the videos, it's been 0 views, and it's even weird that I not like I check it every day, but when I'm uploading the video, I see that they have 0 views. But the weird thing is that the shirtless video has 9 views. What's up with that? Huh? Anyway, probably the highest view count on these vlog videos. Did I have a point here? That's a good question, isn't it? Let's see. So I could have not edited the video, but I ended up doing it anyway, even though I do have other things to do. But why? What's the point of editing these videos if no one's watching? I think on one hand, it's probably more... I should be looking into the camera again. On one hand, it's more enjoyable than maybe doing some other work that I've been postponing maybe, or that's just takes a lot of mental energy because of, I don't know, technical issues, or because I don't do this type of thing that often, and it just, like, I have to relearn doing it. So it's just, I don't know, since it's something, I guess it's avoidance to a degree. But on the other hand, it's also, there is a point in there. And the point is, I guess, practice. And each time that's probably not true, but sometimes when I do the videos, I learn something, or I try out something new, or test out something new, or I come up with an idea of, I don't know, improving the video, or just some sort of thing that I could do in the video. And it's just practice. It makes my skills, my process stronger or more elaborate. I don't know what the word is here that I'm looking for, but the point is that when I start making actual videos, by the way, remember I said that I was going to do the video for the other channel, have done 0 progress since the last time I mentioned it, because you have different things that you need to get done throughout the week, and if you keep postponing something, it will be forgotten, like memory in general. They say that memory works when you you don't actually remember facts or data or whatever. Memory is kind of strengthened, or not strengthened, but like it basically, you don't remember your memories, you remember your memories of those memories. They become reinforced each time you think about that moment or that place or thing that you think about. So if for some reason I postpone one of my plans or one of my projects, and then I postpone it again, or I forget about it, or I don't have time to do it, then at some point I will forget about it. And maybe I will somehow come back to it, to the general idea of doing a video for that other channel, but by that time I will have forgotten this specific idea. And maybe not just forgotten, but it won't feel relevant or good, or won't make sense to me to do it now. Okay, I see that one of the lights ran out of battery. So if I don't bring this back to my to-do list, then chances are that I will forget it. And the time and work and energy that I put into it thus far. So I've written a draft and rewritten it and did some kind of world building for that to add a layer of, I don't know, something interesting to that. So if I don't do it soonish, then that idea will probably die and be forgotten. And that would be sad, at least for me. So what I was saying before I got distracted at least twice is that when I start doing actual videos, finally, like the one for the other channel, when I start doing those videos, I will have already practiced some techniques, some editing styles, some editing options, and it will take me less time when it matters the most. So when I'm in the process of creating that video, I won't hesitate or get bogged down by watching a tutorial and trying to figure out one small detail. Or at least, hopefully, this won't happen. Basically, I will have gone through the process of these all different potential avenues of improving the video, of knowing how to say something, how to frame a shot or approach some sort of a thing in the video. And that's basically how it goes with everything. It's theory versus practice. You knowing how to do something in theory means almost nothing. And we've probably talked about this in this vlog. I'm pretty sure we have. But again, repetition actually reinforces the knowledge, the memory, the idea. It helps you craft it with memories. It helps you, unfortunately, distorts the memory to a degree, but in some ways it strengthens it. Maybe it makes it a little more interesting than what it was. Maybe each time you remember it, you are older and wiser and you have more context for that memory. Because I don't know where I was going with that. The fun of having ADHD, or rather AUDHD, so autism plus ADHD, where you have to be really precise about the things that you say, but then you forget what you were saying in the first place. So that's a bit annoying sometimes, but that's who I am. Right, so theory versus practice, quality versus quantity. I've always leaned towards quality on the side of perfectionism, I guess we could say. And whenever there's one little detail missing or something that is like, it's something that I feel like I could say that it's unfinished. Whenever that happens, I tend to just let go of the project or postpone it or delay it until I'm over the deadline, or try to perfect it and then I burn out, or something else, or it isn't relevant anymore. So that is an issue. That is why I have so many unfinished projects, why I'm basically a loser in technical terms, or I guess whatever terms. And we could argue what being a loser means. But let's say for myself, for what I believe I could have achieved, for what I believe that I should have achieved, I am a loser. I have missed a lot of opportunities. I have wasted a lot of time, and it sucks. It's just how it is. So when the issue is with prioritizing quality over quantity, and as a result, the projects don't get finished, that's when you look at the results eventually, hopefully. Because with my ADHD, I would do that a lot, where I would hop from idea to idea, and whenever it got difficult and boring, and whenever I would hit the wall of perfectionism, where it's like, it's not as good as I thought it could be, I'm not ready to launch this project yet, I still need to add something, I would either burn out or get bored or just disillusioned or get lazy or just, I don't know, depressed. I would start feeling depressed, which I guess any of the previous things that I said can do when perfectionism is like, okay, that's not perfect enough. I want to get it perfect. And then you're unable to do it. You're unable to get it perfect. Or you're, I don't know, whatever. So as a result, I would start to get depressed, and to rescue myself from that unpleasant emotion, I would come up with another idea, with a new, better idea. And then the cycle would repeat over and over. And that's how I lived for quite a long time. I'd say at least my early 20s is where I lived in that cycle, where I'm like, oh, cool idea, let's do it. I would be very enthusiastic, and then I would get depressed and then start the cycle over again. And I would distract myself from this depression that was building up, from this failure that was building up, or even not failure, but rather the failure to act, the failure to fail, or I guess be brave enough to fail. So I would skip on these emotional highs whenever I would start to see the low coming. And then I started realizing that the results aren't there. Yeah, maybe I have these brilliant ideas, I'm good at generating good ideas, but if the action doesn't follow, then there are no results. The results don't follow. So the only way to get results is to look at your situation, to realize, okay, I'm not getting the results that I want. So you gotta, back then, in my later 20s, I didn't saw results. So I looked at reality, and then my solution was to get depressed, or rather not to get depressed, but basically I cut off that top part of excitement, of coming up with new ideas and getting like emotionally invested in them, and that exhilaration or whatever. And as a result, the only thing that was left was the bottom part, the depression. So I didn't have any tools or any other ways to get into the like emotional highs or out of depression. I stayed depressed for a long time. But I guess what I didn't realize was that the issue was quality versus quantity. So quality of action, or rather quality of results, versus quality or versus quantity of action. I guess I put two ideas here together right now, because it's like quality versus quantity and results versus action. And I guess that is, yeah, why not? Because results is the thing that you actually can't control to a degree. You can control your actions, you can control how much work you put in, how much time and energy you put into something. But you can't always control how much you get back from that, because things happen. You can't control other people, you can't control, I don't know, the market, you can't control like how, I don't know, luck, whatever. There's a lot of external factors that are just out of your control. So the only thing you can control is your action, although even that sometimes is a result. But that's a bit of a deeper topic, especially with ADHD. Sometimes you can't control what you're doing or not doing because your emotional state isn't allowing for that. But then the action that you're looking for is your mental work on that emotion. It's acceptance of being imperfect, of having ADHD, of realizing that you have ADHD and that your willpower fluctuates more than for other people, that your emotions are more volatile, that your routines break down, not occasionally, very often. So all you can do is, so when you can't control your actions sometimes, all you can do is control how you, or like you can't control, but you can work on how you see the situation, how you see your role in the situation. If you tried that day, if you got out of bed, sometimes that is a win. That is an action. Like whatever you did maybe that day, that is the only thing that you could have done. Sometimes you have to accept it and then take that win. Be proud sometimes of that win. Personally, it probably won't help you, or I don't know, like maybe sometimes it's good to, I don't know, shout from the top of the roof, I got out of bed today, but maybe not. In any case, the point is that whatever steps you need to take to get better, I have to, for the camera, it's 0 point is here and right. So to get better, sometimes it's just a tiny step that you can take. And sometimes it's not visible, it's in your head, or it's just cleaning up a bit in your apartment. Maybe you didn't finish that big project that you had, but maybe you didn't finish that big project that you had, but you cleaned up in your home office, or maybe you didn't even clean up in your whole home office. Maybe it's still like a mess, but maybe you at least found like one thing that you could do, which reduce the mess on your desk. Whatever step you took, it's still better. It's a step forward. So now you just have to keep doing this. You have to keep taking this action more often. You have to keep building up a habit, and you might fall down, like you might slip up, you might not do it for a month, and then you remember, oh, that's a good thing to do from time to clean up so that your environment is less messy, and thus your, I don't know, thoughts are less messy, which helps you get your actions in order or whatever. So getting back to quality versus quantity. Quality is perfectionism. Quantity is action, because sometimes you can't control how good something is because you don't have the resources to make it perfect. What you can do, theoretically at least, is imperfect actions, little steps that improve some aspect of whatever you can improve, and then accept like kind of inner action, mental action, emotional action, where you accept it for what it is, what you can do with it, and then publishing, letting it out into the world, accepting that you can let it be and let it fail somewhere out there, and maybe it reflect badly on you in some way. Be ashamed of it a little bit, or just accept that people will see it and think, oh wow, this person is an idiot, or you're an idiot. or I'm an idiot or whatever. Someone will see you and they will think, oh, idiot. So sometimes that is, or oftentimes, most of the time maybe, this is the only way to progress and get to results, to actual results. Because for me, like one of the client projects that I promised yesterday, or even I don't know, because my sleep schedule is messed up again. So I think it was the day before yesterday, because now we're already 4 hours in the next day. So I am completely failing on my promise to the client that I will send it to you today, which was the day before yesterday. And so one of the things that's stopping me from finishing it is perfectionism. It's, on one hand, it's the fear that's built, like this emotional kind of baggage that's been built up with things like this, which is that I put a lot of work in it and then it's not as good as as my vision of it, the perfect vision of how it could be ideally, but the tools that I have, the software that I have isn't perfect. And then I try to, okay, but what if I do this? And I'm like, but I don't like this angle. This is a bad angle. It doesn't show this and that. And then it takes too much time to get here and whatever. Like when I'm editing the virtual tours, and I'm like, the client won't like it, and the client probably won't care one bit. And this mental self-flagellation that I get into with these client projects, this is what has built up this dark cloud around them, this energetic black hole. Whenever I think about, okay, I need to finish this, and I'm like it's not conscious. It's just something that has built up, like a feeling, like a subconscious emotion. And I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I don't have the energy to do this today. And then I'm like, tomorrow I'll have the energy. But as we all know, tomorrow never comes, because today is tomorrow for a week or whatever. So it's that perfectionism, it's that attachment to a high quality result, but I can't affect it. Like, the high quality result is out of my hands. Sure, I can maybe a little bit, 1% at a time, maybe find ways to get closer to it, but it will never be perfect, like not really. So like a virtual tour by its nature is virtual. I can't teleport the viewer to that place where they will experience it at their retinal maximum possible quality, right? So the only thing I can do is I can use the tools that I have, give it my best, and sometimes I have to lower my best. I have to accept that there is some part that just I could have improved it, but it wouldn't have mattered that much. It would have maybe been slightly better, but it would have cost me way too much energy, both mentally and physically and time-wise, which, as we all know, time is money. The more time I spend on a project, like finishing a project, the lower my hourly rate becomes, the less I make that month, because that's the time that I'm not spending working on another project, on getting a new client, on doing a marketing campaign. So yeah, in my 30s, well, now in my late 30s, basically almost 40s, 38, I think, still. I do believe so. A few more months. This is insane how fast time goes at some point. Anyway, in my late 30s, although actually in my 30s, I think I started to realize how much I need to get over my perfectionism and how much I need to focus on just getting something done, like just just do something, like the smallest thing. If you can't do anything else, just do the smallest, bare minimum. And then try to do a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and do it as soon as possible. Don't postpone it, otherwise it won't get done. And yeah, it's a daily struggle. And just the fact that, okay, we're at 37 minutes, and I have two thoughts. One thought is, fuck, again, I'm at over half an hour. Like at 20 plus minutes, I was like, I'm over 20 minutes. But like the initial thought with this vlog was that I'm gonna do short videos, very short videos, because that's the only way I can guarantee quality, because otherwise it will take too much time, because I can't edit this video to something that is structurally, autistically good enough. It's just gonna be a mess. Whatever way I try to spin it, it's going to be a mess. So I would have to, like, right now it's like it's like a brainstorm, right? And the brainstorm is basically an initial draft. And if I wanted to get it to a good place, I would have to transcribe the video, which isn't an issue anymore. I have Descript, I have other tools, other AI tools. That's not an issue anymore. But I would still have to work on it. Then I would have to come up with a structure for the script. And sure, ChatGPT could go through it, take a stab at it, create some sort of a structure. But then what happens is that it loses like soul. It loses that initial, oh, I came up with this thought just now and then I said it. It loses that emotion which I have when I just came up with the thought and said it, or that kind of immediacy where I'm in that headspace where I'm connecting the dots, right? So if I would read that ChatGPT script or structure or whatever, then if I read it kind of word by word or sentence by sentence, as a lot of YouTubers or other content creators do, I'm not saying it's a bad way to do it. I'm just saying that it will lose some of that soul, some of that emotion, some of that kind of, I don't know, immediacy. But on the other hand, it will gain in structure, it will gain in clarity, it will gain in quality. It will be better, but I will feel less connected to it in a way. Or maybe I will feel more connected to it because it requires more investment to get it to that point, to do several draft cycles to flesh it into something that is very clear and well structured for the viewer. Because right now this is a lazy thing that I'm doing, right? And maybe it sounds better to me. Maybe this whole emotions and whatever, I'm so connected to the idea right now. Maybe that's all bullshit because it's just easier for me. And when I work on this more, I get more bored with it. I get tired of it, and maybe I'm burning out a little bit. That's one of the fears that I have. So I do need to find a balance between the two, I believe, at some point. But yeah, the way I'm doing it right now is lazy. And I'm guessing, I know that it's lazy. If we're talking just like quality-wise. But quantity-wise, hey, 42 minutes of pure content, shitty content, very unstructured and chaotic content, probably very unclear for people. Content, but it's content. Nobody wants to watch it. Content, but it's content. So, I don't know. I guess the moral of the story is that at least I'm making videos and look, try to do some lighting stuff today, and I changed the way I'm lighting my face as well, because before I was bouncing it from the wall and then lit up the whole room, but this is more interesting, dramatic. I like the darker background, light accents. So I tried this out, and it is improved quality, right? It is an option that I will have in my toolkit, which I can whip out. Sounds too dirty. Let's not use that expression anymore. And yeah, so the more videos, and see, now I'm in my head because of this phrase. Anyway, so yeah, I'm experimenting. I'm like, some of my skills are improving, some of my, like, I'm getting these experiences, points of reference. Oh, I did that one thing once. Let's try that. I think that would work. Then I accumulate this treasure trove of things that I could do. And as a result, one day, if I ever live to that day, I might actually create some decent enough videos. But again, I'm probably closer to a good video than I would have been if I tried to make a perfect video from the start. Or maybe I could have, gotten a good enough video, but then it would have been my last video again, because I was like, it's not perfect enough. There's so many mistakes here, and I hadn't worked on my perfectionism with that scenario or with that, I don't know, mindset, whatever. As opposed to now, where I'm like, I've created 45 crappy videos now and published them publicly. And I feel like I'm getting closer to being ready for a good video. But will that day ever come? That is the question. Will I ever make an actually good video?